Hello there, my loves. It's me. I thought I'd just pop on and do a little piece on this drone situation that's going on. Drones. As you all know, I do tend to worry about things on a daily basis. The most tiny, inconsequential things I elevate to kind of soul-crushing enormity levels. If I hear a clap of thunder, for example, I'm not thinking, shit, I better get my umbrella. I'm thinking, oh my God, they've just dropped a nuke. I'm not joking about that. I do that. It's involuntary. I can't help it. The other day, there was a warning on the fucking British government. They send out this warning whenever something untoward is about to happen. This was for a red warning, weather warning, a storm warning, Storm Dara, I think it was. I was there Friday evening, peacefully sipping a brew, and this fucking alarm went off, and I thought, fuck, we're going to die. And it was about a storm. So yeah, this situation primarily over in America at the moment, New Jersey area, all of these drones being sighted, by all accounts, hundreds of the devils, various different sizes, different shapes, different configurations of lights. It's not just New Jersey though, of course, it's all over the world. This is happening all over the world, including in dear old Great Britain. Drones being sighted above US military base. Yeah, what's going on? Various other countries, of course, over in China and Russia, Australia, all over the world, these things are being sighted on a daily basis now. Now, I thought I would cover this just because I would like to get some of your views on it, my dear viewers, if that's possible. Perhaps you can cool my tits slightly. But I've always been a follower of the UFO phenomenon. They're called UAPs now, of course. Unidentified aerial phenomena, or whatever they want to call them, potentially aliens. Let's put it that way. So I've always been interested in this, and I've been a believer that there are aliens perhaps amongst us, perhaps not walking down the street twirling a cane, but perhaps up in the sky. Now, up until relatively recently, these reports of UFOs have been few and far between. They're very rarely recorded, and when they are, it's on a jerky camera, easily discounted. Eyewitness testimony is rarely believed. I mean, I don't tend to believe it myself until I see it with my own eyeballs. I've never seen anything like this. I would quite like to see it in person. But I've seen enough of footage that appears to be genuine to make me believe that these things exist and that various governments around the world know about it. Now, of course, a useful thing is that over the last 10 years or so, the word drone has entered the vernacular of most people that know about these little buzzing things that have lights on them that can photograph and shoot film, used by filmmakers, used by crop spreaders, and occasionally primarily, I imagine, is to kill people on the battlefield. We all know about drones. So it's easy now to call these things drones. Whenever you see a light in the sky, that's a fucking drone. Now, by all accounts, the ones that are being witnessed over New Jersey, primarily, I've seen lots of footage of these things, they all show that they've got lights on, haven't they? These warning lights, standard aviation warning lights. So you're thinking, well, yeah, an alien isn't going to broadcast its position with these kind of lights, unless they're mimicking drones, of course. If they're not aliens, then what are they? The American government's tight-lipped about it. They won't say anything about it. All they've said is that we don't know what they are. They're not ours, but there's nothing to worry about. Over here in Britain, I don't think the government have made any comment on this whatsoever. You go to BBC News, there's nothing. So in the mainstream media, these kind of stories have always, glibly referenced. It's always something to laugh about. Oh yes, aliens. Yeah, in that kind of offhand manner. And yet now it's like slap bang in your face. There's hundreds of reports a day, if not thousands. I mean, these things are all over the place. And you start thinking, what the hell's going on? Now, there's lots of conspiracy theories going on. The usual talking heads are talking about this. The ones I follow anyway. I'm not going to mention any names, but people that study UFOs that are trying to bring these things to light and also fill their own pockets with dosh. So I take everything with a pinch of salt. But something is undoubtedly going on. Now, what could it be? I'm not going to speculate, other than the fact that this channel is one of the main things I do is review science fiction. And I have an interest in the strange things that go on in this world that can't readily be explained away. I'm also quite keen on science, and I won't fully believe something until I have empirical evidence that it is that. But of course, we're dealing with governments that are going to be tight-lipped. If they've had any dealings with extraterrestrials or have possession of extraterrestrial vehicles or that kind of stuff, they're not going to tell you. In fact, they'll do everything to stop you knowing about it. Now, one thing I thought was perhaps the aliens they've had enough of this scenario, this secrecy, the government's being guarded about their existence, and they've decided, right, fuck this. We'll just float around in various locations and people can see us. So get used to us, perhaps. Now, is this the prelude to an invasion? I hope not. I really don't think it would be either. The other thing is potentially these are probes from something or that's approaching us. It's taking a long time to get here, perhaps, or they have no intention of coming here in person. It's impossible, perhaps. They're sending these things to observe us, and have been doing so for decades. Those are the two possibilities if we go down the alien route. The other way is it could be Americans, it could be Chinese, it could be whatever. But by all accounts, these drones are not standard drones. I mean, they're staying up in the air for hours on end, hours and hours. And they're moving in ways that conventional drone technology it wouldn't allow. So something very odd's going on. It's either very high technology that is derived from Earth, or it's something a bit spooky. Now, the one thing that concerns me is this proliferation of sightings. They were once few and far between, as I said before, and now they're right there in your face. People are observing them, they're photographing them, they're attempting to film them. It's always at night, usually, although there have been daylight sightings as well. But it's these lights. I mean, if this is an alien civilization that's vastly in ahead of us, they wouldn't be broadcasting their appearance in the sky if they could get away with it. But this appears to be a concerted effort to say, look at us, we're up here, we're looking at you. Is this a sinister move? In some ways it appears to be. It can be interpreted in that way. I mean, hanging around in groups and over airports, things like that, it's not causing anyone any immediate harm, but by the fact that they're up in the sky, getting in the way of normal air traffic is slightly dodgy, isn't it? But it's just the fact they're there every night, in some cases, wherever these areas where they're in New Jersey specifically, they're there. Now, there's been reports of the sound of, you can hear rotors and things like that, so conventional drone technology, albeit the size of fucking cars or buses. But then there's other ones I've seen that there's no sound. There's just a glowing orb in the sky. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation online as well. This is the same problem you always get. You get people on the bandwagon. They want to make some money, so they'll pretend this has happened. They'll take footage from years ago and say that it's happening now. And of course, we now have artificial intelligence, video generation. There's definitely stuff I've seen that's been spooled off one of these AI gen things. So what do you believe? Who knows? I mean, it's just strange that if you go by the mainstream media, it's largely being ignored, especially, just take the BBC, for example. Nothing. I think I saw one article about it talking about drones. After that, nothing. I mean, this is when everything's going on over in America. There's loads of the bloody things all over the place, and they're not talking about it at all. They don't want to worry people, I'm assuming. But it's wonderful, isn't it? I say wonderful, it's kind of scary, but because I'm an avid reader of science fiction, I write my own occasionally. I mean, for me, this would be the beginning of a story. Something that everyone's ignoring, or they're calling it something else. They're trying to describe it in terms of earthly technologies, of what we think is possible. So yes, it's a drone. It's someone's personal drone. They've created this themselves in their garage. You know, this fucking car-sized thing that stays up in the sky for 6 hours at a time. Yeah, so that's the scary part. It's this willful deception on the part of people that don't really want to entertain the possibility that it's anything other than humans doing it. I mean, I want to grasp hold of anything that suggests that it is an earthbound thing, despite the fact that that could be a bad thing in itself. It could be, you know, a prelude to war, perhaps. It could be that the aliens, knowing that we're on the brink of a third world war, perhaps want to, you know, give us a hand, you know, take away all the weapons, perhaps, and allow us to talk through our problems. I mean, that's wishful thinking, of course, but who knows? Perhaps they've been living amongst us. You know, there's theories that they live under the sea, perhaps. I'm sounding mad now, but even talking about this is still this stigma of madness associated with this discussion. But if they're sharing the world with us, and always have been, potentially, the last thing they want is for us to irradiate the whole world so that nothing can live there. So, yeah, there's lots of ideas popping around in my head. They're mostly not pleasant, but but I think for me, if this happens, for example, if there's a full disclosure that these are aliens, they're here in great numbers, I don't think I'll ever read science fiction again. What's the point? It's happening. It's happening here. I mean, it's mind-blowing stuff if that's what it is. I suppose for me as well, it's one of the things because I suppose it's OCD kind of thing. I worry about lots of little things, of course. The minutia, the smallest things I'll worry about, but also I'm always trying to rationalize or stay in control of my surroundings as much as possible. That's why I don't like flying. I don't like the idea that once I'm in that tin can, I can't do anything. I'm at the mercy of the pilot, and it's claustrophobic. That's another story. But for me, I'm thinking, well, how many of these things are there? Is there a limit to how many there could be, for example? I mean, at the moment, we've got lots buzzing around New Jersey, to take one place. It's all over the world, of course. What's the limit? I mean, will there be a point in the near future where you've got hundreds of them buzzing around every single square kilometre of the Earth? I mean, there's no limit to these things. If it is extraterrestrial, I mean, there's a limit to what humans are capable of putting up in the air, of course. There's a physical limit. There's a financial limit. Aliens, no, they could do what they like. I mean, who knows what's going on? That's my nightmare scenario, is that you can't move for glowing orbs. I'm taking it to the nth degree here, but that's what we have to do, I think, especially if you're a warrior like me. Anyway, I don't know if I'll put this up. I was lying awake in bed last night and I was thinking about it. I was thinking, maybe I should make a video. Anyway, that's what I've done. Yeah, cheers. Cheerio.